Good morning, everybody, and welcome to session 10 of our Advent devotional series. This morning's scripture will be in 1 Samuel chapter 8, verses 1 through 22. So, let's get started. And the word says, "When Samuel grew old, he appointed his sons as Israel's leader. The name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second was Abijah, and they served at Beersheba. But his sons did not follow his ways. They turned aside after dishonest gain and accepted bribes and perverted justice. So all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah. They said, You are old, and your sons do not follow your ways. Now appoint a king to lead us, such as all the other nations have." But when they said, "Give us a king to lead us," this displeased Samuel. So he prayed to the Lord, and the Lord told him, "Listen to all that the people are saying to you. It is not you they have rejected, but they have rejected me as their king, as they have done from the day I brought them out of Egypt until this day, forsaking me and serving other gods. So they are doing to you." I'm going to underline that because that's really awesome. Now listen to them, but warn them solemnly, and let them know what the king who will reign over them will claim as his rights. Samuel told all the words of the Lord to the people who were asking him for a king. He said, "This is what the king who will reign over you will claim as his rights. He will take your sons and make them serve with his chariots and horses, and they will run in front of his chariots. Some he will assign to be commanders of thousands and commanders of fifties, and others he will allow to plow his ground and reap his harvest, and still others to make weapons of war and equipment for his chariots. He will take your daughters to be perfumers and cooks and bakers. He will take the best of your fields and vineyards and olive groves and give them to your attendants. He will take a tenth of your grain and vintage and give it to his officials and attendants, your male and female servants, and the best of your cattle and donkeys he will take for his own use." Wow. It just hit me now why we give a tenth of our paycheck for tithing every month. I'm not sure about y'all's schedule, but my tithing comes out every month. And it just showed me why we give a tenth. Because right here in 1 Samuel, it says a tenth of everything. So that's why. Okay. He will take a tenth of your flocks, and you yourselves will become his slaves. When that day comes, you will cry out for relief from the king you have chosen, but the Lord will not answer you that day. Ooh, that's also good. Hold on. But the people... Ooh, hold on. Give me 1 minute. I just dropped it. Alright, let's try that again. And we'll scoot this back a little bit. But the people refused to listen to Samuel. No, they said, we want a king to rule over us. Then we will be like all the other nations with a king to lead us and to go out before us and fight our battles. When Samuel heard all that the people said, he repeated it before the Lord. The Lord answered, "Listen to them and give them a king." Then Samuel said to the Israelites, "Everyone go back to your own town." Give me a minute while I compile a scripture summary, please. So, the first scripture summary I have written down is as follows. The Lord knows what's best for us, but sometimes He will let us learn lessons the hard way. That comes from 1 Samuel chapter 8, verses 7 and 8. I feel like that's self-explanatory. We oftentimes, when we feel that we can do life on our own, God says, sure, try that by yourself and see what happens. 10 times out of 10, He's more than likely correct, and we know we screwed up. But He knows we screwed up, and yet will still help us. Okay. That's the funny thing. Like, He knows we're gonna screw up within this life because we're humans. But yet, He will still help us with day-to-day situations. Okay. That's fabulous and fantastic. The second one that I have written down is sometimes the Lord will stay quiet until we figure out things by ourselves. This life is hard enough. Let God show us the map. 1 Samuel 8, verse 18. That goes along with pretty much what I just said a few seconds ago. This life is hard enough without the outsiders, if you will, or with the outsiders, meaning people who don't know Jesus, why not just, let me see if I can word this right without making people upset. This life is hard enough with the outsiders that we have to deal with. Why not just let God in and make it easier for everyone? I mean, He's there for us for everything else. Why not invite Him in for everyday life as well? I mean, wouldn't that be just the easiest thing ever? Is to just, I don't know, bring Him into your daily routine. I'm about to make my cup of coffee and have quiet time and all of that. It's just as easy as doing that. Invite God to coffee and quiet time. That's what I do. Now, I'm not judging those of us who don't do that, but however you spend your quiet time is how you do it. My way of quiet time is by having coffee and listening to worship music. But God has the map to our destinations. But sometimes we find it in our best interest to go on our own for a little bit. And God says, okay, see how well that works out for you. And oftentimes it does not. So, my thinking is this. Sometimes it's okay for God to be quiet, because that means He's doing work behind the scenes that we can't see. But in the end, it will all make sense. That's all for today's devotional. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. With Christmas Eve and Christmas Day being next Monday and Tuesday, I will be taking a break, but I will be back on Wednesday. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.